Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live Stream Show. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out and joining us for another Sunday Night Live Stream Show. Hopefully you're ready for a good time, a great show, and just a lot of talking fishing, answering questions, going over what's going on, what's coming up, and more. Plus, we're going to be giving away free stuff. Who doesn't like that? If it's free, it's for me, right? So make sure if you want a chance to win some free stuff, you do have to comment at least one time. If you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, definitely comment, definitely thumbs up, definitely like the stream. We appreciate it. But in order to be eligible to win the free stuff, you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube stream. That's right, you got to comment. Go to Hubbard's Marina's YouTube channel, find the live video, and you got to comment one time in order to be eligible to win on YouTube. Then you got to watch the whole show live because at random intervals we're going to do those giveaways. Then you got 5 minutes or less, if you're picked as one of the lucky winners, 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. Phone numbers at the bottom of the screen there. So you can watch on Instagram, you can watch on TikTok, you can watch on Facebook, but you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube stream in order to be able to win. And then you have to watch the entire show live and stay tuned because you got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip if you're picked as one of the lucky winners. We got a 5-hour half day for 2, a 10-hour all day for 2, and a 39-hour trip to give away tonight. Plus, on top of that, we want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Gator Jim's Tackle is over there at 3301 Pinellas Point Drive, South in St. Pete. South St. Pete, an incredible shop, an incredible team, stuffed to the gills with deals. If you haven't stopped by our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, you are missing out. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive, South in St. Pete. Big shout out to Gator Jim's Tackle for being our title sponsor of our live stream show for so many months, really years at this point. So big shout out to Gator Jim's for being such a huge partner of Hubbard's Marina and our Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard live stream show. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to all of our supporters who are watching from our supporters clubs. Definitely appreciate all of you guys for helping fuel the show. Also, don't forget, if you're a part of our supporters club, it's only $4.99 a month. You get access to our private supporters group, and you get access to our private supporters after show. After every live show, we spend another 20-25 minutes or so in that after show diving deep into things and answering your questions even more. So appreciate all of those in our supporters group. Plus, throughout the week, you get more connectivity, more comments, and more behind the scenes info in our supporters group. So big shout out to them. And then finally, also want to make sure we give a shout out to all those who are sending super chats on YouTube. We had Larry White with a big 5, Adam Franklin with a big 5, Richard Blazak with a big 5, Gary Nichols with a 5, and Chris Molina as well with a 2. Appreciate y'all. And then on Facebook, we had Barry Long with 500 stars, Scott Flynn with a big 200 stars as well. Appreciate the stars over there on Facebook as always, too. So thankfully, we've got supporters on Facebook and YouTube watching the show tonight as always. Appreciate you guys for being a part of it. All right. Want to make sure we get into the photos, show you guys what we've been catching. Then we get into the weather, show you what's coming up weather-wise, talk about the best days coming up to go fishing or catching, if you will. And then we get into some announcements, and then finally your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, make sure you text us your question to the phone number on the screen. We're streaming to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, a bunch of different places. We don't always see all the comments, so if you want a chance to get your question answered live during the show, you do have to text it to the phone number on the screen. With that, let's get right into the photos and show you guys what we've been catching. We'll start off inshore, show you guys what's going on inshore. Then we'll work our way a little bit further near shore and offshore. So starting out inshore, flounder bite has been spectacular lately. Seeing a lot of these flounder. It's been pretty impressive around the area. The Jack Crevalle are also very active, seemingly in the morning and around sunset the most, but during the day you can find some schools cruising around crashing bait. Redfish action has been prolific from the upper bay and back bay waters all the way to our passes and around the beaches. We're seeing the redfish action really, really prolifically throughout the area. They're super aggressive. They're super concentrated. So where you find one, often there's many, many more. LaShonda Brown, appreciate that super chat on YouTube. Nice redfish action, as you can tell, just all over the place from the schoolies to the big dogs. Sheep's head have really taken off this last cold front, really stirred things up, really cooled things down, and really got those sheep's head to wake up around the area. Local structures, oyster bars, dock lines, piers, bridges, jetties, anywhere there's hard structure or hard growth, we've been finding the sheep's head, which is fun to see. The little snook are very active. A lot of them have pushed back into the upper bay and back bay waters. The further back you go, the further up to the creeks, river mouse bayous, we're seeing more of those snook. Triple tail are showing up. Our stone crabbers are finding the triple tail around the stone crab traps near shore. We're seeing triple tail in the bay too. I got a photo from a guy just a couple days ago, a big old triple tail that was on one of the markers. So keep those triple tail eyes peeled as you're cruising around. A lot of trout picking up. Water temps are down. Trout are picking up, getting more active and moving a little shallower for us as well. So always cool to see. Richard Harcourt, appreciate that super chat on YouTube. All right, so showed you photos of what we're catching inshore. Let's work our way a little bit deeper and show you guys what we're catching near shore and off. Near shore, we got a nice scamp grouper on one of our recent 10-hour all days, some catch and release gag grouper. Hogfish bite's been pretty good for us. Unfortunately, they are a little finicky. They're real good one day and then a little tougher the next. And it's been a little bit frustrating in that regard. Today was a gorgeous day, beautiful weather, but the bite was a little tough on the 10-hour trip. Really slow and steady. And the 39-hour trip that came in this morning had very similar action. A little slow and steady during the trip, but they ended up putting together a nice catch just because they had so much time to target them. Today on the 10-hour, they did okay, but they really had to hunt and peck and stick and move and go around. Ended up catching some nice keeper hogfish, but just not the numbers we wanted. So it's funny, we'll get hogfish in the dozen, 2 dozen, even more than 20 sometimes, and then all of a sudden the next day it's like 4 or 5. It's kind of strange in that regard and can be frustrating too. But overall, we're seeing some steady hogfish numbers. Always cool to see the kids out there catching some fish. Captain Seabass's daughter's putting on a clinic, showing everybody how it's done. Always cool to see the kids out there doing it. The nighttime mangrove snapper trip, you've been getting some nice mangrove snapper out there, some nice muttons in the mix, plenty of lanes, a good time to get out there and do some catching on that 12-hour night snapper trip when the weather allows. Always cool to see some of the deeper near shore species picking up, some strawberry groupers, always fun, some big lanes in the mix too. This one is a Cuban hogfish or a spot fin, pretty cool looking aquarium fish, catch and release only, but still fun to see on our 39-hour trip. Our buddy Chris Collins with a big fat nearshore red grouper. Always cool to see the local anglers picking up some fish. Plus, big news, we have grown quite a bit. Hubbard's Marina has acquired our neighboring business, the pirate ship and the red dolphin boat. So if you want to come out and do something other than fishing, not only do we have island trips, shelling trips, sunset cruises, but now we have a pirate ship with a cannon. I don't know if you guys know that, but there's a cannon on the boat, and that has been my favorite part so far. People are cool too. They have some great teams over there, and we're definitely blessed to bring on an even larger Hubbard's Marina family and some really good people, but the cannon, guys, it's pretty legit. And the Dolphin Quest is cool. It's a different kind of dolphin tour. Smaller boat, much smaller crowd, and is much more eco-tour kind of educational focus. So if you've been on one of our dolphin cruises on the big blue boat, I would recommend trying one on the red boat because it's a different kind of cruise. Instead of sticking to a normal route and going through the area, telling you the history, more about the homes and stuff, this one goes straight for the dolphins. They got a fin book to help identify and name the dolphins. They tell you all about the history of the dolphins, the genealogy of the dolphins, it's pretty interesting. So more of like an educational type cruise about the area and about the local wildlife. So different options for you now, more a breadth, if you will, while you're in town. And man, the pirate ship is really cool. Performance art, if you will. Very entertaining for the family. So excited about that for sure. Larry White, appreciate those stars on Facebook, brother. Thank you so much. All right, so we showed you photos of what we've been catching. Let's get into the weather and show you guys a little bit about the weather. Popping over to hubbardsmarina.com, right on our main website page, we're going to click fishing trips, and then underneath fishing trips, we're going to click weather links. We're going to hit the wind finder forecast area, and we're going to start in the 5 and 10 hour forecast area. And you can clearly see we've got gorgeous weather this week. Absolutely beautiful. Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. There's potentially a little cold front, kind of a mild front end of the work week. But the forecasts have been jumping around. It was a little bit more windy. Now it seems like it's calming down a little bit. We'll look at the offshore forecast and see what it's calling. But we do know Monday looks gorgeous. Tuesday looks perfect. Wednesday, pretty darn awesome. And then Thursday into Friday, there's a little bit of a question mark, but right now forecast is looking beautiful. And then the weekend behind that little disturbance gets really nice. There is a significant chance, a lot of forecasts agreeing that after the weekend around the 24th, we get a much stronger cold front rolling through the area. So pretty confident that post-weekend coming up, we're going to get some wins. So get out there and go fishing early part of this work week if you can. If not, Thursday and Friday may or may not be pretty darn good. Weekend looks good. And then Monday the 24th, things could get a little nautical. Let's look at the offshore forecast and see. Yeah, even offshore forecast, that wind has calmed down for the end of the work week. So really not looking too bad. Weekend looking great still. So real mild disturbance at the end of this work week. It doesn't even shift out of the north, which means the front doesn't make it all the way down to us, which should hopefully mean the fish get excited. That front stalls to the north of us, hopefully kind of moves the barometer a little bit, but not too much. Hopefully it will excite the fish a little bit. We do have a new moon coming up Thursday, so that means through this work week, tides will pick up, water will flush a little bit more, bait will flush a little bit more, and hopefully things will get excited. So we're looking forward to that. Also, Josh has this pulled up, so we'll talk about it now as well. Don't forget, our 2026 calendars are out right on hubbardsmarina.com. You can click shop and then visit shop and find the calendar. It's only $5. It's a 2026 calendar. It's got all our fishing photos in it. Got our Hubbard's Marina history timeline on the back cover. You could pick it up, so you could buy it online for $5 and pick it up for free, or we could ship it to your house. It is up to you. And if you're going to ship it, you might as well grab some other things too, because it's flat rate shipping. Also, want to make sure we talk a little bit about Fishing for Hope. That is a big, huge focus, kind of pet project for us. We're super pumped about this weekend's event, Saturday, November 22nd. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., North Rome Avenue, Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Tent. I will be there myself. Capt. Mike Anderson will be there with me, Captain Bill Miller, and a lot of other folks from the industry, and we're going to be unloading your vehicle. So stop on by and we'll unload your vehicle of donated food or unwrapped toys. It's a huge food drive. They're also doing a toy drive too. But again, it's North Rome Avenue, Holiday Tent, Metropolitan Ministries. You'll see the boat out there. Pro Marine's got a beautiful sea hunt out front with a big banner on it, and you'll know right where to pull in, and I'll be there to say hello and help offload the donations. We're super excited about this event, and we definitely need as many donations as possible. I think last year we had like 28,000 pounds of food donated. This year we're trying to double that. So we need your help. They need a lot of help. It is such a special event, close to our hearts, and definitely have enjoyed being a part of it the last few years. And I'm pretty sure my kids and wife will be there with me too. So if you want a chance to meet the better half and the children, come on out and see us. I'm definitely excited about it. So hopefully we'll see you there. And if you can't make it, I understand it's Tampa. It's Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you can't make it this coming Saturday, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the North Rome Avenue Holiday Tent for Metro Ministries, you can make it right on over to Bay Pines. The Pro Marine location in Bay Pines, they are accepting donations there this week. They've got the boat out front of the Bay Pines Pro Marine location, so you can stop by Bay Pines Pro Marine and you can just donate dried food there and canned food there. They're going to fill it up in the boat, and they're going to take that boat over to the event Saturday morning. So if you can't make it over to Tampa, stop by Pro Marine over there in Bay Pines and donate your food there, and we'll make sure that food makes it over to the event. So big shout out to our friends at Pro Marine for donating the boat for this event and also being a donation location. And then, of course, a big shout out to our friends from Old Salts. Old Salts Fishing Club also had the boat from Pro Marine there on the infield of the Fall King of the Beach tournament. They had 7 different barrels filled up with food donations, and hopefully we're going to see even more coming from a lot of the donation links they had as well. So big shout out to Old Salts Fishing Foundation and Pro Marine for being a part of this Real Animals Hubbard's Marina Fishing for Hope event, and just very excited about it. So big food drive. Hopefully we'll see you there. All right, and then also want to make sure we remind you, we do those OCC Roadhouse events every 4th Tuesday of the month, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every 4th Tuesday of the month. The problem is the 4th Tuesday in November is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so we're not going to do that one. And then the 4th Tuesday in December is the Tuesday of Christmas week, so we're not going to do that one either. So unfortunately, no OCC Roadhouse event in November or December, but we're going to have an extra special one planned for you the 4th Tuesday in January, and then it will be the 4th Tuesday of every month in 2026. So hopefully we'll see you the 4th Tuesday in January. Don't forget, no OCC event November and December. So want to make sure no one shows up for that and gets disappointed. And then along with that, our 2026 specialty trips. You want to book a 39-hour trip, a 44-hour trip, a 12-hour extreme trip in 2026, December 1st at 11 a.m. That schedule opens up. So we're only about 2 weeks away from your ability to book those 2026 specialty trips. If you want to book a regular trip, a 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day, one of those shark trips, any of those regular day trips, the Dolphin Tours, the Egmont Key trips, those are already available. So you can start booking 2026 trips now if you want to book a non-specialty trip. But a 12-hour, a 39-hour, 44-hour, they are going to open up and be bookable December 1st at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. December 1st, 2026 39-hour trips. And remember, Red Snapper season 2026 opens, I'm going to have to look at it. It's something to do with Memorial Day. I think it was the weekend before Memorial Day, or I don't know. Let me look it up. Yeah, I think it's the weekend before Memorial Day. I don't know. It's sometime in May. I'll look at it and remind you guys. But, yeah, it's not June 1st for 2026. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk about it next weekend because I, for some reason, forget off the top of my head. But, yeah, Red Snapper season, Federal for Hire Red Snapper season start date is going to change in 2026. It's not going to be June 1st like it's been June 1st the last decade. It is going to change. I think it's the Friday before Memorial Day. Maybe that's it. But Memorial Day is Memorial Day is a Monday, isn't it? You're right. It's the Friday before Memorial Day. I knew I would remember. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the assist there. Stone crab season is open and rocking. Our Don's Dock Seafood Market there inside the pass has tons of stone crab. So join us at Don's Dock Seafood Market if you want some fresh fish, some shrimp, some stone crab. That seafood market is stuffed to the gills with fresh seafood. And we're running a special right now on those large stone crab claws. You don't want to miss out on that. The last thing I wanted to remind you about is Guide Checker. Remember, if you're looking for a guide outside the area, if you're not fishing with Hubbard's Marina, you're looking for a guide somewhere else around the area, check out guidechecker.com. It's going to show you verified guides that are trusted, insured, reputable, and people who have passed the mustard. It is a great way to find guides. You can hit the Guides Near Me feature if you're out of town looking for a guide, and it'll show you the closest guides to you. You can look at the destinations and look at places right there on the destinations. You can see we got a lot of guides around Florida, but we even got some in Georgia, North Carolina, and Texas, and we're adding new guides all the time. So definitely check out guidechecker.com. Verified, vetted, professional fishing guides. Really, really cool website. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do so. And make sure you give us a follow on Facebook as well, a Guide Checker. I think that's all I got as far as announcements, so let's get into some questions. But first, as always, before we get into your questions, we want to do our first giveaway of the night. So we're going to see what our first giveaway of the night's going to be. Let's do a 10-hour all-day. Shake it up a little bit. We'll do the 10-hour all-day giveaway. One lucky winner, 2 guests, 10-hour all-day. Are you ready, Josh? Lucky winner is... Bum, bum, bum. James Morgan, 4734. Congrats. You just won a 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. James Morgan, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen to claim that free trip. Stephen Batchelor, appreciate those 500 stars. Christine Christine Schrock, appreciate those stars as well. All right, let's see what else we got on YouTube here. We had some others. Richard Harcourt, appreciate the super chat again, my brother. All right, let's see some questions. What's the difference between the Florida Fisherman and Fisherman 2? And do you fish from them differently? So we only have the Florida Fisherman, which is the Florida Fisherman 2. It's the same boat. Sometimes referred to as a Florida Fisherman, other times a Florida Fisherman 2, but it's the same boat. We have the Friendly Fisherman, which is a different vessel. The Friendly Fisherman doesn't do the long-range trips. Our Friendly Fisherman is the smaller party boat. It's actually, we call it smaller, but it's actually a little longer, but it's narrow and a little faster, and we do the day trips on the Friendly Fisherman, and it does our 5-hour trips occasionally, and then all our 10-hour trips and 12-hour night snapper trips. It's a little faster. You get a little further, a little quicker, and it's more of our near shore fishing vessel, where our Florida Fisherman does some of the 5-hour trips when the 10 hours out on the Friendly. The Florida does the 5-hour trips. And then also the Florida does those long-range trips. Those 39-hour adventures are all on the big Florida Fisherman. So it's a cool boat, a lot wider, a lot lower center of gravity, a lot more stable. So the Florida Fisherman is great for that reason. Robert Holtzhaus, appreciate those 500 stars and on Facebook there, buddy. And appreciate seeing you on this 39-hour, my friend. Hopefully you made it back home safely. Is anyone catching black grouper on the 39-hour trips? We do occasionally. Recently, I haven't seen one in the last couple trips, but we did maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we caught a keeper black. We caught a couple of them there at the end of the summer that were keepers. So it does happen. Nothing real big lately, but we have seen them before. And also, I'm noticing we do not have a lot of questions for the live stream show, guys. So if you have a question you want answered live during the show, definitely text us on the main office phone number, 727-393-1947. If you have a question that you want answered live during the show, holy moly, that's crazy. Someone just sent us a photo of an almost 42-pound kingfish. Can you zoom in a little bit, Josh? That is a monster kingfish caught out of John's Pass today. That is a beautiful fish. That's funny because the King of the Beach winner was 39 pounds, so this was 2 pounds bigger than the King of the Beach winner. And then also the Wild West winner, I don't think was 42 pounds either. I think it was another 30s, high 30-pound fish. It didn't look that big, at least. So that's a beautiful kingfish. Cool to see. And also the Wild West Kingfish Tournament was this past Saturday by Angler Armory, and they had a pretty good showing of kingfish. So it's cool to see the kingfish still around. Last week we were kind of talking that maybe the kingfish might be thinning out because of that big cold front and that big cool down, but obviously they didn't thin out that much because we've seen quite a few of them. Don Shewitt, appreciate the big 20 super chat there, buddy. Thanks to the Tampa Jigging Company. Big shout out to Tampa Jigging Company and their support of the live show. Thank you, buddy. Speaking of that, we got a new partner we want to give a shout out to. Our friends over at DocServe. If you haven't heard of DocServe, they are a local marine mobile mechanic. That's something that's been missing in our area. Mobile mechanics are always a challenge. A lot of mechanics shops around are awesome, but you have to bring them your boat, which works well if you've got a 30, 35-foot boat or less, even a 40-foot boat. You can trailer that a lot of times to your local mechanic shops. The Pro Marines of the world are amazing, but it's a little challenging when you need someone to come to you. Pro Marine does that, and they are awesome too, but they're busy, and they also have a huge service department, so they kind of want you to bring the boat to them. DocServe is a mobile marine mechanic service, and they've partnered with us at Hubbard's Marina. DocServe services all of our vessels with outboards now, and we trust them implicitly. Hubbard's Marina, keeping our fleet running safely and smoothly is the backbone of everything we do, and that's why we partner with our friends at DocServe. The mobile marine mechanic team is responsive, knowledgeable, and always right there when we need them, like scarily fast. What's really keeping us on the water is their monthly inspection program. DocServe gives us multiple sets of trained eyes on every one of our vessels, helping us catch those small issues that come about early and avoid major breakdowns down the road, and it gives us a peace of mind that is priceless. Their membership program even includes these inspections monthly, but also free diagnostics if something does come up, which is invaluable. Even if they're there for an hour or 5 hours, free diagnostics. DocServe helps keep Hubbard's Marina operating at the highest level so we can focus on giving you the highest quality experience on the water. Their premier mobile marine mechanic service in Tampa Bay, they service both Yamaha and Mercury outboards, plus they can handle your marine electronics, and they service all the popular power pole or popular trolling motor brands, but I mean Power Pole is the best one. Reach out to them today at 813-807-7676 or visit them online at DocServe without the E, so that's DocServ.us to get linked up with our new great team, DocServe. Big shout out to them. So if you have your own boat, if you use a smaller boat in the area, you need a mobile marine mechanic, they are masters at what they do. DocServe.us. Remember, no E on serve. All right, let's see what our next question is. It's a little different to see so many mutton snapper lately. I would agree. We saw this with yellowtail snapper too. We saw yellowtail snapper go from like occasionally around to all of a sudden we saw them more frequently. Now we're seeing yellowtail snapper almost every trip offshore, and they've moved much further north as well. So yellowtail snapper we've seen over the last 10 years get more and more prolific. Same with lane snapper. Like when I was a kid, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old working on the charter boats, we might see a lane snapper here and there. We might catch 10, 12 on a 10 or 12 hour trip, but now we're catching 100, 200, 250 lane snapper sometimes, and we're seeing lane snapper. Back in the day we'd see them 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 inches. We're seeing lane snapper now that are 20 plus inches, solid 2, 3, even up to 4 pounds. It's crazy the size of these lane snapper. And back in the day, you would see lane snapper right around 90 to 110 foot, and that's about it. Now we're seeing lane snapper in 20, 30 foot of water, and we're seeing lane snapper in 160 foot of water. So we've seen a spatial distribution, geographic distribution of lane snapper exponentially expand. Also, their average size has exponentially expanded as well, and increased. The biomass is really strong. We've seen that with yellowtail snapper. Now we're seeing it with mutton snapper too. Again, when I was a kid, we sometimes caught mutton snapper like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a year, and we had to be really far south. If we ran really far southwest, we'd catch a mutton snapper or two, but it was rare, and we had to run really far south compared to where we normally fish. Now we can run northwest. We can be north of the 28 line and still catch these mutton snapper. So it's really wild. And what we've seen recently is in these cooler months, we see more of them seemingly as well in deeper water. The summer months, there's just so much action around, and we're targeting those red snapper, the mangrove snapper are voracious. So I don't know if there's more of them or they're more aggressive in cooler months, or maybe there's more of them pushing north in cooler months. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, but we see more of them in these cooler months for sure. We saw that last winter, and we're already seeing the mutton snapper uptick again. So it's pretty cool to see. Regulars Club renewals are starting here anytime now. We will call you when we get to your name in the list. They are a little later because of our business acquisition. Normally we start renewals early November. I pushed them back a little bit because of that business acquisition, but we're going to get them done before December 1st. Don't worry. Don't fret. We're going to call you. New Regulars Club members, you're going to sign up December 1st when that schedule opens up to the public. So super pumped for everybody to book your 2026 trip starting at 11 a.m. December 1st. And new Regulars Club members, basically our 2026 Regulars Club will open up December 1st as well. So excited. How long of a leader should I use off a number 2 planer with a 5-inch spoon on the 39-hour trip in the beginning of December? Generally, it's always the same, no matter the time of year. About 12 to 18 feet between the back of your planer and spoon, and you want to have a snap swivel there to allow that spoon to spin on the back of the planer for sure, and sometimes even on the front of the spoon. And you want to use that planer and spoon for the first maybe 20, 25 miles, and then switch to a lipped diving plug further from shore. Sometimes the skirted plugs work too, but lip diving plugs seem to be the number one. The Rapala X-Rat Magnums, the Nomad DTX Minnows really are the go-getters. Can you talk about the recent announcement about the East Coast red snapper season? It's interesting what's happening. States' rights versus federal management. Basically what happened on the East Coast is the state of Florida, the state of Georgia, South Carolina, they all got together, and the governors basically were like, hey, we want to take over state management of these species of red snapper. And basically the Fed said red snapper could stay open for a couple of days based on MSA and the way federal management works. The state comes in and they did this EFP, or exempted fishing permit. They prove they can manage them. They prove they can manage them in the Gulf, and now they're trying to take over, or they did take over management in the South Atlantic. The kind of interesting part is we're seeing the state make a play, states with an S, make a play for other species in the Gulf. They've had state management of red snapper for many years, and now they're trying to make a play for amberjack, triggerfish, gags, red grouper. It could be good, it could be bad. I'm a little concerned as a federal for-hire operator just because we like to have some consistency across the Gulf. So it doesn't matter if you get on a charter boat in Texas, a charter boat in Florida. There's some consistency there, but I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns going on right now, and states' rights seem to be winning out. So we're kind of along for a ride here to see what happens. I think FWC will do a great job, but it's also a little bit of an unknown field. And what's really frustrating to me is I didn't get to attend this last meeting in Biloxi, so I've followed along, but I wasn't there in person, which is the first federal fisheries meeting I've missed in a great number of years, but that was because we were closing on that business the week of the Gulf Council meeting, so I unfortunately couldn't get away to Biloxi for that meeting. But like I said, I stayed tuned, and nothing happens fast. So it was just discussions, and really rubber will meet the road at this next meeting. So we'll see what happens. But the Gulf is also going to have some shakeups, it seems. So we're watching closely. But yes, essentially the red snapper season in the South Atlantic for our East Coast brethren and lady anglers will be longer. It seems like it's going to be, I think the announcement was like 30 plus days, somewhere in that range. I'm sure that I'll be getting corrected here in the comments very shortly. So fire away. But we shall see. Our friends at Sea Spirit, I'm sure, are listening and can correct us. But it is interesting. Red snapper for us, our federal for hire season should be very similar to this year. It'll open up the Friday before Memorial season and probably go into like mid-September, I would imagine. But our red snapper 2026 season, we will not know for sure what it is until probably April or even May. But I know for a fact it'll open the Friday before Memorial Day, and it will probably be open until about mid-September. We won't know the end for sure until, like I said, around April, May. Is a 12-hour extreme a nighttime or daytime trip? The 12-hour extreme is a daytime trip on our Flying Hub 2. The 12-hour night trip is a mangrove snapper trip at Friday night, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Saturday, all year round on the Friendly Fisherman. And that one's fishing for those mangrove snapper, lane snapper, vermilion snapper. We catch some porgies, occasionally some grouper, but it's really a snapper trip. 12-hour extreme goes 70, 80, 90 miles, and we target big red grouper, triggerfish, mangroves, a lot of other species right now. How can we find out what will be in season next year for our trips? We talk about that every week. So remember, the seasons will be pretty similar for 2026, and we'll keep you up to date. We don't know what the seasons will be for 2026, even ourselves. They don't announce these things until very, very last minute. Remember, Gag Grouper 2025 was September 1st. We didn't find out that Gag Grouper was opening September 1st. We told you it would be open for about 2 weeks. I was telling you that for 8 months. And they finally announced finalized Gag Grouper season. I think it was like it opened September 1st. I want to say it was the end of July, early August. They gave us like 4 weeks heads up on what the season was going to be. So don't wait for an official announcement. Watch these shows and go off what we're estimating. Right now, we're telling you red snapper is going to open May 1st, or the Friday before Memorial Day. I think it's May 22nd, and it's going to be open till around mid-September probably. Gag Grouper will open September 1st, and it will probably be open for 2, 3, 4 weeks. We don't have the data yet because the federal government was closed. So we don't have the data yet from this Gag Grouper season. I'm hoping there was no overage. If there's no overage, our 2026 Gag season should be September 1st to like almost the end of September. So we'll see what those numbers come up to and what those finalized Wave 4 and Wave 5 numbers are. But we won't know that for a while because the feds just reopened and we don't have that data yet. But it's coming soon, and we'll keep you up to date. Amberjack season should be September 1st opener. Don't know how long it's going to be open for. Keep in mind there's going to be another overage because it wasn't supposed to open this year, but it did. So probably not going to be open very long, if open at all. Remember, triggerfish are open all year except for January, February, June, and July. Red grouper should be open all year next year. Scamp grouper is going to be closed the first 6 months of the year. They're going to be July 1st to the end of the year. So scamp, gags, amberjack, triggerfish, red snapper. Those are the 5 fish with seasons next year. We just told you what they were going to be, estimated. We don't know for sure, but those are the seasons. How can we find out what... Oh, we just talked about that. Ha! I was about to freak out. Is it time for another giveaway? You're right, Josh. Let's do another giveaway. We did our 10-hour all-day giveaway. Let's see who won our 5-hour half-day giveaway. 5-hour half-day, one lucky winner. 2 guests, one lucky winner is Bum, bum, bum. Jim Croker from St. James. Congratulations, buddy. St. James City. You just won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? I think that top question is, when do hogfish start biting? That very top one. Hogfish start biting in those cooler months, starting around October. So they have started. We're starting to see them pretty good, and they bite all the way till kind of April, May, when the water starts to warm up again. So hogfish bite is on now. The biggest trick to the hogfish is finding those weather windows between the fronts. So Tuesday 10-hour, Thursday 10-hour look real good as far as opportunities to catch some hogfish. Remember, we're on a new moon now too, so new moon generally means a better daytime bite as well. So should be good fishing. Let's see here. What is the best tasting snapper, mutton or the mangrove snapper? And where in the water do they hang out? They both hang out right there on the bottom, mangroves and muttons. So I would say what's better tasting? They're both very unique and good tasting. I would say the taste is pretty similar, pretty close, but different because they're both in the snapper family. They're both pretty closely related. The consistency is very similar. Muttons are cool just because you don't get to eat them all the time. So mutton snapper, I would say, is a little ahead of mangrove snapper just because it's more unique. Because you're not going to get it as often. But mangrove snapper are pretty darn good eating, so hard to say that they aren't good. All right, what's the saying? What's the craziest thing that's ever happened on the boat? Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff, man. Some real crazy stuff. I would say the one time that, I think we talked about this on a show, didn't we?
Yeah.
The FBI? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think was that a supporter show?
Yeah, it was.
It was a supporter show. Yeah, the FBI coming to my apartment was by far the craziest thing, but that was a supporter show story. The supporter show has all the cool stuff in it. Let's see, craziest. There's just, I would say the craziest thing that happens is when people come out and they're not prepared. They don't take their medication. They don't bring their medication. Like people that are allergic to stuff and don't have an EpiPen, or people who are diabetic and don't take their medications, or people whose blood sugar gets funky. I mean, you can get into a bad shape. We've had people go out there and they don't have their heart medication. We have people that go out there and they're like, yeah, I just had open heart surgery a couple weeks ago. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, or people that have been drinking all night and haven't drank any water, and then they pass out or get heat stroke in the summertime. So I would say those are the craziest things that happen, the medical emergencies that arise from folks not being properly prepared, not taking their medication, not having their medication on them, not being hydrated, not keeping cool, not listening to their bodies. That's, I would say, the craziest things. Plus, you see a lot of crazy stuff on that 39-hour trip. When you're on that 39-hour trip, you're out there all night long fishing, especially the 44-hour. You're standing out there 7, 8, 9 hours at night. On the 39-hour on the way back, everybody's sleeping. The lights get turned off. Man, you can see some stuff out there. Some floating lights, some crazy shooting stars. It's hard to explain sometimes what the things you see. You never know what you might see on the water. Plus, you get cool animals too. I mean, we've seen right whales, we've seen pilot whales, we've seen humpbacks, we've seen back in the day orcas. We used to see great whites. We've seen space launches. Yeah, a lot of space launches we see offshore. One thing that happens sometimes is the sea snakes come up at night. That's pretty wild on the moons, especially like new moon, full moon. Sometimes you'll be out there and all of a sudden the water starts to move, and then into the lights come this, like, it looks like the plague from like Bible movies because the water's just crawling with snakes. Squid do the same things occasionally out there. We see big schools of bait. You come across things floating sometimes. I remember on a 63-hour trip, we came across a big, huge floating buoy, and it was just underneath of it was just thousands of these baby triple tail and mahi-mahi. That was really, really cool. So you never know. You never know what you're going to see. Can you go over the current from 3 days before and 3 days after the 39-hour trip? What? One current, but not so much it causes issues.
You want to go fishing 3 days before.
Oh. For a full moon, just keep in mind, guys, the full moon, new moon, moon phase in general is one variable. There's so many other variables. What the currents are doing. The loop current could come closer and totally screw up the currents and what's going on with the moon phase. You could have a loop eddy. You could have a multitude of different things that affect the current. Sometimes on a full moon you have bad current. Sometimes on a full moon you have no current. A lot of times you have current changes. You could be in an area where there's an eddy and no current, even when the current does change. Also, you have water clarity, you have cloud cover, you have a lot of different things that can affect whether or not that moon effect really changes the way the fish behave too. So I wouldn't get too wrapped up around the moon phases. For a full moon, sometimes right ahead of the full moon is like 2-3 days before is when that nighttime fishing really turns on and the fishing's really good. Sometimes it's right on the full moon, because if it's really cloudy 2-3 days before, sometimes it's right on the full moon. So it's hard to just say moon phase 3 days before the moon, great time to fish, because it wouldn't be true all the time. Because if it's really cloudy 2, 3, 4 days before the moon, and then all of a sudden right on the moon you get a really clear night, and it's been cloudy for 3 nights, then all of a sudden the fish are going to chew then, and they're not going to chew when it's cloudy, because the moonlight doesn't penetrate the clouds. So moon phase is only one of the multitude of variables that affect and dictate whether or not fish are going to feed more actively or less actively. And fishing is not a science. You cannot look at a calendar and say, well, the moon's doing this, and moon rise is at this time, and I'm going to be fishing this general area. And it doesn't work like that. It does not. There's too many other variables that can affect the fishing. There's thermocline, chlorophyll. There's different pressure gradients. Barometric pressure can alter. I mean, the list is endless. And I always say the best time to go fishing is when you're available. Get out there and go fishing. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it's a little tougher, but it's always a good time to get out there on the water. A bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work, unless fishing is your job. Then it's tough when the fishing is tough. All right, next question. What do we got? When is the Florida coming out of the water for Coast Guard inspection? Early January. So we switched that to January. We used to always do dry docks in September, but now early September is gag season. So we're not going to take our boats out of service in September. So we're always going to do dry dock, at least in the near future, in early January. So we're going to run 2026 schedule. There's one long-range trip very early January, and then right after that weekend, that first weekend, the boat's coming out of service for probably about 6 weeks. The Florida is either going to change engines or have engines rebuilt. We're going to switch out generators. We got a lot of work to do to the Florida fishermen, so it'll be out of service until around the 3rd week in February. It'll be back in service. So 2nd week of January till about the 3rd or 4th week of February, it'll be out of service. So just keep that in mind. What else do we got? Are the engines being replaced? We don't know. We talked about this in depth during the supporter show last week. basically the engines may or may not be replaced. We're going to get the boat out of the water, take a close look. We have new motors. We already purchased new motors for the Florida fishermen, but they're sitting in our Gulfport warehouse, and we're going to get them nice and ready. And they could go in the boat, but if the engines we have currently look good, we're going to get them freshened up and keep using them for a little while longer, which will make dry dock a little shorter, easier, and then we'll be able to put in those new motors right away if there is an issue that arises. But if we get the boat out of the water and those motors don't look spectacular, then we'll be putting those new motors sitting on the ground back into the Florida. Do you have gift certificates? We do, right on our website. Click hubbardsmarina.com, hit shop, and you can get gift certificates right on our website. Or you can stop by the shop. It makes a great Christmas gift for the angler in your family. How do you enter the weekly giveaways? Comment on YouTube. You got to comment on YouTube. You got to watch the entire show live. And then if you're picked as a lucky winner, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your home address. We always explain that at the beginning of the show as well. If I bring my own gear, what is the best rod and reel size to bring? It depends on the trip. Remember, on our website, if you hit hubbardsmarina.com, hit fishing trips, and then scroll through the trips, it'll give you every single trip we offer. And each trip we have has an in-depth tackle suggestion. And then if you don't find what you're looking for, you can always call. But trust me, it's all on the website. Can you start making pelagics that are caught by jig or artificial knot trolling be part of the fish pool? That'd be interesting. I like it. I like that idea. A little tricky to do, but I think we could have a chat about that. That's a pretty cool idea. We did have this 39-hour trip that got in this morning. There was 3 tuna caught, and if you watch the live video this morning, Capt. Will said 2 of the tuna was caught by one guy free lining. He did not catch him free lining. He caught him jigging, slow pitch jig fishing, which was pretty cool. So 2 of those 3 tuna that were caught in this 39-hour were caught slow pitch jig fishing. The other one, the third one, was caught by a guy just dropping a bait to bottom and accidentally hooked up to that tuna, which is cool to see. You never know. Sometimes you catch them just dropping down or reeling up, which does occasionally happen. We had a blackfin tuna caught recently on a chicken thigh, an uncooked chicken thigh. Dropping down to bottom, something happened. She had to stop for a second, and it was just, I guess, floating in the water column, and a blackfin tuna came by and ate that piece of raw chicken. It's just like chicken rigs, man. The darndest things. People do catch fish with them. Don't know how, but sometimes crazy things happen. How did the interview go with the stormwater treatment guests on the real animals? It went really well. If you didn't catch it, we've been talking to Matt Edson from Phillips. Phillips and Jordan, it used to be called, now it's just Phillips. Matt Edson is the guy who wrote the permit for the Southland Water Management area, I guess you call it. So they're building this huge water, I guess you would call it a reservoir. And it's going to complete the 360,000 acre feet that are required to help ease the discharges. So in Lake Okeechobee, it fills up with fresh water, and they got to discharge that fresh water out of the Caloosahatchee, and I'm forgetting the other name of the other side, but essentially they discharge that fresh water out each side because remember, South Florida is an island. There's a canal system built across the state, so Okeechobee can drain to the east and drain to the west. And they discharge water out of Okeechobee, and with that comes a lot of nitrates, a lot of phosphates, a lot of, I guess, minerals that often and generally can fuel red tide events. Because remember, red tide is a naturally occurring organism. It's almost always in the Gulf of Mexico. It likes it needs a few things. It needs the right temperatures, it needs food, and the algae needs to be present. Well, the Gulf is always about the right temperature. The algae is almost always there. It's naturally occurring in the offshore waters. And when we get really strong west winds, it gets blown up on the beach. When these discharges happen, it all of a sudden gets a huge injection of food, and these big red tide blooms happen. So discharges are a bad thing. So they've been working on this EAA reservoir. It's been in the works now for like 35, almost 40 years it's taken. And it's still not done. And it's still a long way off. And the EAA reservoir folks hired a mining company to come in and finish it up. They're blasting all this rock to make the EAA reservoir. The Southland Water Management Area is also going to be a reservoir, but it's only taken them about 5 years to go from plans to already construction. And there's going to be water held there in just a couple years. And the reason they move so fast is it's privately funded on private land. It's not taxpayer funded. It's not government land. So they're moving a lot faster. They're also blasting just like the EAA reservoir. And the reason private money is funding it on private land is because they're going to take the rock out of it and sell it. So they've made a business out of it. And so they're able to do things a lot faster, a lot quicker. And in the permitting, it's going to be the same depth within about a foot as the EAA reservoir. So they're not digging super far deep. It's only about 15 feet below ground level. So it's pretty interesting. And we've been talking in depth to Matt Edson, who is the expert, because there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet that the Southland people are digging some big 100-foot hole and it's going to be so dangerous and they shouldn't be blasting and rock mining is terrible for the environment. But a mining company is building the EAA reservoir, and it's the same depth, essentially, as this one. And the EAA reservoir is a $1 billion project of taxpayer funds. This is privately funded on private land. So it's a pretty interesting conversation. So check it out. That was the Real Animals radio show this past Saturday. It's right on our YouTube channel and Facebook channel if you want to watch the rerun. It's pretty cool. All right. What else do we got? How long is trolling season for mackerel and kingfish? It kind of depends on water temperatures. They like around 78 to 72 degree water temperatures. Water temps are already starting to get to that bottom side of things. So mackerel are still around. There's still some kingfish around. So I would say trolling season is still safe. You guys talked about snook being stunned on the Real Animals radio show. Can you please explain that? Remember, snook are a subtropical species, so snook don't like cold water temperatures. When snook get into like mid 60s, they even high 60s, they can get what's called cold stunned. And they get really lethargic, they stop eating, and they come up to the surface and they don't really move. They get eaten by dolphins, sharks, birds. People can just walk up there and pick them up, and they die of starvation essentially because they stop moving. That's why snook this time of year go into the back bay and upper bay waters, into those rivers, because it's dark bay mud. It radiates heat. It's a little shallower. Sunlight can penetrate it a little better. Warmer, darker water holds light or holds heat better too. So the snook do their best to stay warm, but times when we have a really bad cold winter, the snook don't do well. So back in 2010, we had a really bad freeze and water temperatures got really cold. And I remember I was pretty young at the time. 2010, I was what? I don't know. I can't do math in my head right now. Yeah. Yeah, but I was trying to do the math in my head, and now you messed me up. Yeah, I was pretty young. Yeah, somewhere around there. So essentially, I was still living with my parents, and we were living at the back of this canal. And the back of the canal is really shallow, dark bay mud. And man, we don't have a lot of snook back there normally because there wasn't a lot of water movement. But the snook just filled the canal, and they just sat there at the top of the water. And I remember I had a little kayak. I put that kayak in the water, and when I would go to paddle, I had to paddle and push snook out of the way because they were just sitting there on the surface, not moving. And I had to put the paddle in the water and literally push them to get moving with the kayak. It was wild. And you could literally go up to them and pet them on the head. You could open their mouth and pick them up and take a photo like you caught them. It was crazy. They just did not move. And eventually a lot of them died because it was like that for a couple days. So scary stuff. Cold stunned snook, but we're far away from that. Water's still pretty warm. And it's La Nina. La Nina means generally a little bit more of a mild winter. So we're expecting a drier, more mild winter because of that La Nina. So we shall see. I think we got time for one more, Josh. What do we got? A good one to end on.
Kind of been answering a bunch of them.
Yeah. We got a lot of good questions tonight.
I got a good one.
Yeah? What you got? Does Hubbard's own the Johns Pass Hotel as well? No, we do not. But there is a hotel right alongside the parking garage and right like catty corner to us. Literally, there's a hotel so close that you could crawl to Hubbard's Marina. It's literally 15 feet away. You could throw a rock and hit your hotel front door. So right on the parking garage are hotel rooms, Johns Pass Hotel. So yeah, that is an option to you. It is owned by the owners of the parking garage. Should we add shrimp if we're going on a 39-hour trip? You can. You don't necessarily need shrimp, but when the bite gets a little tough during the day, like say this last 39-hour trip, it was a little picky, so you could use a little lighter tackle, live shrimp. Sometimes it gets them chewing, especially during the day, especially in the summer when we get that really nice, beautiful weather. This 39-hour trip, we had the same thing. It was gorgeous weather, no current during the day. We're 180 foot of water. Will said they were drifting, and you drop down and just your line would go straight down. So there's no current, no wind, no waves. So sometimes the fish get a little picky like that. So lighter tackle and a live shrimp sometimes works. Do you need shrimp most of the time? No. 90% of the time you're never ever going to use a shrimp. But you could bring some live shrimp, keep it in a bait bucket, and a lot of times around sunrise, sunset, you got a chance for some hogfish maybe. During the day if the bite's slow, you could drop down a shrimp, and sometimes it'll get the fish chewing when they're a little bit more lethargic. Richard Harcourt, appreciate that super chat again, brother. Hitting us hard tonight. How good will bonita strips be? Bonita strips are always a good dead cut bait. Always a great option. Robert Holtzhauser, appreciate those stars on Facebook as well, my friend. Lots of stars on Facebook tonight, too. With that, we're going to wrap things up. If I missed your question, we'll try to get to it here tomorrow morning. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Make sure you like the video as well. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Come out and see us on the pirate ship or Dolphin Quest or one of our island trips. We've got sunset cruises. We have island camping trips this time of year. We do a lot more than just fishing trips as well at Hubbard's Marina. So come out and see us. Check out that new pirate ship. Check out the seafood market. We got that stone crab special going. And then also don't forget, Regulars Club 2026 opens December 1st. Specialty trip schedule opens December 1st at 11 a.m. Don't call us before. Don't call us at 10:50. Call us 11 a.m. December 1st. Really book online is your best bet because those trips sell out fast. Lady Anglers, don't forget about our free Lady Anglers Club. If you go to Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina on Facebook, you'll find that Lady Anglers Club. If you're a lady angler, you want to meet and greet with other lady anglers and maybe go fishing with some other fishing ladies, LadyAnglersOfHubbardsMarina.com. Also on our website, if you go to HubbardsMarina.com, hit info, and then on the info tab, you can find Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina. They got their own website page. So check it out, and it'll take you to the Facebook group, Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina. Really, really cool way to meet and greet other women anglers and have a good time out there on the water. It's free, and I don't even run it. Some of our lady anglers run it, so it's pretty cool. All right. Don't forget, Supporters After Show. If you're in our supporters group, drop on over to that supporters group on Facebook. And the Supporters After Show, Josh, is what time, buddy?
8:45.
8:45. We'll see you in the Supporters After Show for more in-depth information and a good time hopefully we'll see you guys next week again for another episode of our live stream show every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok pages. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Again, please don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Please. We appreciate it. Let's see who won a 39-hour trip. One lucky winner. Also, we'll see you this Saturday. Fishing for Hope, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. North Rome Avenue. Hopefully you'll be there. If you can't make it to Tampa, drop by Bay Pines Pro Marine this week and donate food there. Please check out the Lady Anglers group. Check out Fishing for Hope and come see us inside the pass. All right, 39-hour trip, one lucky winner. Lucky winner is... Oh, man, pick another one. Not Tony Barnes. Well, luckily it's Shelly. So, Tony, you can't use it. It's got to be Shelly. You guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. We'll see you guys in the Supporters After Show at 8:45 p.m. And thanks for being a part of it, y'all. We appreciate you. And we'll see you again next week at 7:30. Have a good one.